Welcome to Unearthly. My girlfriend and I go to school in a small college town in rural Oklahoma. And one night, we decided to drive about 40 minutes to the next big town to get some food. We're heading home at about 11:30 p.m. down a small one-lane road with no street lights and only one car ahead of us. We're reaching a point on the road where it merges into a highway. The car is now 30 yards ahead of us and something is off. The car's rear lights, emergency lights, headlights, and even the interior lights are on and blinking. Every single light in and on the car is flashing non stop. It reminds me of the opening scene of the movie Shazam. I wonder if the car has a shot of some kind. I enter the ramp as the car ahead goes out of my view due to the curve of the road. In no time, I am on the acceleration road and I have a clear view of the highway. The car is nowhere to be seen. All I see are a couple of trucks way ahead of me. The car just vanished in the 15 seconds it took me to merge behind it. Did he pull over? He didn't have the time to slow down, pull over, stop the car, and switch off all the lights so quickly. We found it strange, but didn't dwell on it much. Around a month later, we are going down the same road with my friend Jason. As we reach the ramp, I tell him he's not going to believe what my girlfriend and I witnessed just a month ago. I begin to tell him about the strange car. Before I could even get to the part about the car's flashing lights, he says, "Stop! Wait! Are you going to say the car's lights were flashing like crazy? Are you going to say you saw it disappear?" Because I saw the same car a year ago and it vanished right in front of me. I never told anyone because they'll think I'm nuts. We compared stories and discovered we both saw a white car ahead of us, and its lights started flashing and it disappeared when it went around the same curve, and that both the incidents, his and mine, happened at roughly the same time of the night at around 12 pm. Needless to say, we were all freaked the hell out about it. I had just pulled into the parking lot of my workplace and was walking towards my building. It was 3 in the afternoon, broad daylight on a summer day. The blaring siren of an ambulance suddenly ripped through the relative silence of the area. I looked down the road to see the ambulance approaching. I decided to watch it for a bit. It was getting closer and was just about to pass by me. But a large SUV was waiting to turn out of the parking lot and onto the road, blocking a few meters of the road from my view. The SUV made a turn onto the road as the ambulance came closer on the other lane. I was around 50 feet away and watched the ambulance go behind the SUV, and the siren stopped that very instant. The ambulance never emerged from behind the SUV. I was flabbergasted. I immediately looked up and down the road 5 to 6 times just to make sure I didn't miss it. I had a clear view of the road in both directions and I could see the SUV driving away by itself. But the ambulance was nowhere to be seen. The road had just a couple of other cars on it at the time and it was broad daylight. I know that road as well as I know the back of my hand, and the road doesn't have any side roads or housing units close by where the car could have gone into so quickly. I actually walked down the road for several minutes looking for the ambulance, but nope, it was gone. I was well rested, not on drugs, and I don't have a history of hallucinations. I just can't explain it. This is the incident as it happened 2 years ago when my dog Benji was 14 years old. I'm walking Benji at night time and I don't have a leash on him because he always walks right next to me and never ever wanders off from the time he was a puppy. So we walk across the road to a field of grass, he does his thing, and then he begins to move across the road. I'm caught off guard because it's totally out of character for him to walk away from me. Benji is still crossing the road when all of a sudden a car zooms onto the road from my right, heading straight for him. It is happening so fast. If I call him, he'll stop and turn to look at me and end up being hit. If I run to him, I'll be stuck by the car. If the car driver did notice him, it is too late to swerve the car away. The headlights are now right behind my dog and the car's just about to plow into him. I am terrified that I'm about to see my Benji crushed by the car. There's no way I can handle watching that. Helpless, I shut my eyes and I say a prayer in my head. I don't hear a crash or screeching tires or a dog yelping in pain. Just seconds later, when I open my eyes, I see Benji on the other side of the road looking at me. I turn to look at the car. It is still going down the road. It didn't swerve or slow down or stop at any point to avoid the crash. I could hear it speeding ahead, oblivious to the dog. Benji is too tall for the car to go over him without impact. He wasn't a tiny chihuahua-sized dog. He was just inches away from collision when I shut my eyes. Though old, Benji's eyesight and ears are very sharp. He has actual PSTD symptoms from a past relationship I was in where there was a lot of violence and yelling. So he usually cowered in fear and his entire body visibly shook in terror whenever there were loud noises. But he didn't seem to notice the bright headlights of the car closing in on him or even hear the car thundering towards him. He calmly and casually walked across the road like the car wasn't even there. To this day, it intrigues me why he didn't react to the car and how the car seemed to go right through my dog. Back in November 2013, I was moving from Florida to Kentucky for a new job with a close friend of mine. It's about a 15-hour drive, so we decided to leave at 6 p.m. and drive straight through to get to Kentucky the next morning. The route takes you through Atlanta, followed by a long, dark stretch of mountains in Tennessee where there are no exits and no cell service. This is about an hour-long mountain drive with road signs everywhere that say no braking downhill. Driving here can be dangerous, especially at night. It is about 3 a.m. My friend was in the passenger seat sleeping and I was driving. We had finished most of the mountain road and were nearing the bottom of the mountain. Up ahead in the distance, on the left light, I see a bright light that is slowly getting bigger as I approach. I realize what I'm seeing is a car that is on fire. It is completely engulfed in flames. It is too dangerous to stop because it's night time and cars coming down the mountain may not see us in time. Even though the car was on fire, I barely saw it until I got close to it due to the winding, twisting mountain road. We try calling emergency, but there's no signal here. We see a sign for a gas station that's 2 miles away and go there to get help. We tell the guy working there about the car. He calls a state trooper so that we could give him all the information. Within a few minutes, the trooper pulls up and we explain what happened. But the trooper says that he just came down the mountain to meet us, so he was on the exact road that we were on. He did not see a burning car at the bottom of the mountain. He tells us there are no exits on that road for 15 miles and there's only one road down the mountain, so it would have been impossible for him to miss a car in flames. He is in utter disbelief, so we're arguing with him. We're assuring him we saw the car and no, we haven't been drinking or having drugs. He's still not convinced. The only way he would believe us would be to see it with his own eyes, so we offer to take him back to the spot where we saw the burning car. We get to the spot and there's no burning car. Not even 25 minutes had passed since we last saw the burning car, and now it's gone. After the cop left, we discussed what might have happened. We figured that roadside assistance had removed the car soon after we passed it the first time. That would involve putting up barriers on both sides of the road, up and down the mountain, to notify oncoming vehicles of the accident spot, extinguishing the fire on the car, getting an ambulance to first retrieve the bodies from the car, then removing the car itself, and finally cleaning up the debris. All this in less than 20 minutes. As the cop himself had driven by a few minutes after us, and he didn't see any roadside service vehicles or ambulance there. But later, I spent hours looking for accident reports in that area that were dated 2nd November 2013, and none of them matched the description of a burning car. So the car was not picked up by roadside assistance. To this day, my friend and I are 100% sure of it. At the bottom of the mountain, barely 10 feet away from us, and on the opposite lane, we clearly saw the burning car. I don't believe in ghosts or the supernatural, but this is something that has me stumped. Have you ever seen a car vanish inexplicably? If yes, we'd love to hear about it. Please share in the comments below.